I'm here with Ciaron O'Reilly
and what's your name?
and
Esperanza.
Esperanza.
And you're from Ecuador?
Mahita.
Where are you from?
Ecuador.
Ecuador.
And Jamie.
And Jamie, you're from
London.
London, of course. And I just wanted to get your breakdown on where are we at now?
Okay, so I've been here on the corner here, number 2 Hans Crescent.
Yeah.
Between number 3 here, where Julian is, and number 1, which used to be a Crown Court actually.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was sentenced here in the 70s, and now Elite Apartments. I've been here since last Saturday at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And you know, it's been a marathon with Julian. I was at his first court appearance in December of 2010.
Yeah.
But sometimes it turns into a sprint, and we're definitely back in a sprint now.
Yeah.
The Ecuadorian president that offered Julian and granted him asylum is no longer president. And this president seems to be wanting to put an arrest warrant out on the old president there. So things have changed in Ecuador over 6 years. 6 years, long time in politics, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Julian has been detained without charge for 8 years in England.
Yeah.
First, he was in solitary confinement in Wandsworth. He's pretty much back in that situation. In solitary confinement, he was offline. It was sensory deprivation, which he's experienced for 6 years in this building because the British police is surrounded.
Yeah.
Now, if you turn to your left, you'll see a stairwell. There was a policeman up there for 3 years.
Cool, that must have been a shit job.
And where we got our stuff there, there was another policeman there.
Yeah.
There were 2 at the front, 2 inside, and 4 through the far door here.
Right.
So you look at the building and you think, oh, Julian has the run of the whole building. And that's not true. The Ecuadorian embassy is the length of this alley, but it's half the building. Yeah. The rest of it, So these 3 buildings are owned by the royal family of Qatar.
Right.
And they, and Julian has access to half the ground floor. Right. He's been in existence for 6 years. Okay. Now I've spent 2 years in prison in Australia and Ireland, the United States. Yeah. Anyway, so and I had a lot more room to move when I was in prison. Yeah. You know, I moved about and I had the feeling of heat and cold. Yeah. I could see more than 5 minutes. More than Julian Assange has been able in 6 years. That affects your eyesight because your eyesight needs to go distance short, to keep exercise. Yeah. When I visited Julian last at Christmas, he had a frozen shoulder, he had dental problems, he had eyesight problems. So Julian's very resolute, you know, and he's seasoned because before the World Wide Web, the lead up to the first Gulf War, at 17, Melbourne happened to be one of the hacker hubs. Yeah. Now, you know, Julian is no longer a hacker and hasn't been for years. He's a publisher. Yeah. Some people grow up. Some people still do what they do when they're 17. That's me. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So he's a publisher and he's a journalist and should be defended like all journalists. Now, you look at collateralmurder.org. There were 2 Reuters journalists murdered by the United States military using a helicopter gunship, and you wonder about the media. Why don't we know those people's names? Why aren't those names scrawled on walls or statues to them? You know. And you could say the same about Australians. Because Julian and I are Australians. There were 5 Australians murdered at Balibo in East Timor just before the full-scale invasion by the Indonesian military. Yeah. We know Greg Shackleton's name, but you know, journalists have the ability to keep those names alive. They should be keeping Julian Assange's name alive. He's a fellow journalist. If you don't look after your own, who are you going to look after? And I think it's a real canary in the mine shaft. One is how he's suffering a slow-motion crucifixion, but also the lack of response to that, the lack of empathy in our society is a sleepwalking to fascism and World War III. We're sleepwalking to fascism. And the fascism that's encouraged at the moment is there's a certain form of jihadism which doesn't have legitimate targets. It just goes to the markets and kills men, women and children and non-combatants. And there is a fascism coming out of Silicon Valley, and it has a liberal face, it has women faces, and people of colour and people with disability, but it's fascism. They've established a turnkey totalitarianism where they can just flick the switch and they know where we are, who our friends are, where to find us in order to incarcerate us. So here's what the old saying, you know what a canary in the mine shaft is? So in the old days, they'd go mining and they'd bring a canary, and when the canary died, they knew the air was bad and the humans would die. So he's the first. Yeah. Now, the test subject. Just to say, you know, I'm Irish Australian and I'm living here in England. Now those 3 countries are not independent of the United States. They're just little subsets of an empire. Yeah. And when the Americans say jump,
Yeah.
The Australians, the Irish, the British say,
oh yeah.
No,
yeah.
they say this. They say, how high do you want us to go?
Yeah, yeah.
Who do you want us to land on? Do you want us to land on the Nicaraguans this time? Or the Arabs or the Africans?
Very true.
And how hard do you want us to land on them? Do you want us to use napalm this time? Or just death squads? Or the US Marines or the Australian SAS? And so that shows that there's no independent foreign policy. Britain used to be a great empire.
Yeah.
Now it's an aircraft carrier for the United States.
Yeah.
Ireland was a neutral country, did not participate in World War II. Now it's a hub for US refueling at Shannon Airport.
Yeah.
And Julian Assange is someone who tells the truth.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Jimmy Dore referenced this recently. I think it was Oscar Wilde who said, unless you make people laugh when you tell the truth, they'll want to kill you.
Yeah.
So maybe that was Julian's.
I think that might be right, actually.
And many people, you know, Hillary Clinton suggested that he should be droned. There are many American bureaucrats and politicians that want him dead. And I spent a year in jail in the United States. They can set you up for a knifing, for a rape, whatever.
Oh yeah,
you know. He should stay in here and non-violently resist any extraction.
Yeah.
Now, we know who does the extractions. They're the British SAS, right?
Yeah.
And last time they went into an embassy in the city, they shot in the back of the head people who are unarmed, who put their weapons on the ground and were in a spread eagle prostrate position, right? So this is pretty intense, you know. And they also did that in Gibraltar to Marie Farrell and 2 Irish people who were unarmed. Yeah. They could have arrested them, but no, they shot them in the back of the head. These are called the big boys rules. That's when the SAS put down the yellow card of the rules of engagement with the British military, and they turned into the fascist thugs that the US, that the British.
So do you think, what do you think's going?
The only intervention I think that could save the situation was if the Pope and the Papal Nuncio come to this street, hands President Knightsbridge, here on the tube, or the Pope Mobile, or whatever, and accompany Julian Assange to a place of safety. Whether that's initially the Vatican embassy here, whether that's the Vatican itself, or a country that has the integrity like Ecuador had for 6 years. And I praise Ecuador, because the Australians were willing to take his passport off him. The Labor Party, Julia Gillard, were willing to take his passport the first day there was any accusation about him upsetting the Americans. Of the gringos. Sorry, you're American, aren't you? You're from Latin America. So you know, the Australian High Commission here in London, I confronted Alexander Downer in the street, and I went into the High Commission recently on Julian's birthday to confront George Brandis. It was funny because I never met an Australian in the 7 minutes I was inside before I was thrown out by British police. And they have been totally negligent at best. It took them 8 years to come and visit him. He's been detained 8 years without charge, confined in sensory deprivation for 6. And it took the Australians 8 years to turn up. And that's their job. That's what they get paid for. That's why we pay taxes in Australia. If an Australian gets in trouble abroad, their responsibility, whether it's for heroin, or in this case, upsetting the United States of America, the role of embassy is to go to see that person. I was in jail in Texas. They sent up a guy from the Houston consulate, right? But at my sentencing, there were we had 120 pacifists there. They objected to us being criminalised. They got thrown out of court. Everyone got thrown out of court. They opened the door. 3 guys in suits walk in. I said to the American court official, "Who are they?" They said, "That's the Australian embassy." They've been there all morning, but not come up and said, "G'day, Ciaron. We're here to represent your human rights." They hung out with the FBI, and their job was to facilitate imprisoning me in the United States for non-violent action against a weapon of mass destruction of B-52. So,
can't be relying on them.
It's great to have the women of Ecuador with us.
Well, thank you very much.
Men of Britain.
Thank you very much, chaps.
And the Norwegians over there, the Vikings here, and the Russians and the
every day there is more people.
Yes, there is. I mean, there's been some very good vigils here where 50, 60 people. It makes a big difference.
We had 250 people here for the 6th anniversary. Of his,
right.
If he's still here, I think in August they're going to be another big.
So we're back in a very high stress situation. We don't know if this will end in half an hour. 2 hours ago, it was reported that a team of 6 heavily armed police were 2 blocks away with short arms. In this alley the other day, I was walking down here, and a heavily armed policewoman walked up. I'm thinking, where did she come from? I sat on those stairs there,
Yeah.
reading a book, and I noticed her walking towards me. I didn't look at her, but I looked out the corner of my eye. She got in a beat-up old silver van,
Yeah.
license plate DV6, and drove off. They're here constantly. They're just not in
Oh
my
yeah,
cars.
yeah, no, of course, yeah. Well, listen, Ciaron, thank you for the update, and I shall pretty much see you tomorrow, I'm sure. I hope to see you
Can I
tomorrow.
just end by saying I'm acting under direction of Julian Assange's father, John Shipton.
Yeah.
And the non-violent guidelines for participating in this vigil is three things. One, try to come well dressed because of media perception. So you dress like you're going to a baptism or a wedding.
Yeah.
You look fine. And secondly, not to criticise or abuse the Ecuadorian government. We're here primarily in solidarity with Julian Assange. And
Come on. Yeah, this is fine. If he can't get past now, he shouldn't have a bloody licence.
Okay, right, yeah.
Right.
That's the third thing. We've got to be polite to everybody, even
Look
the
out.
average truck driver.
Yeah, he's going to run you over.
Because the situation here is they've got our friend and he's a hostage.
Yeah.
And when a hostage taker has your friend, you negotiate very carefully with respect for the hostage taker. You don't want to upset them, okay? So that's why we come well dressed, polite, non-violent. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. Thank you for the time.